Yeah, Mama, okay, I remember. Vito! Ow! Hey, Mama!
Go.
Right, I'm going. Jesus Christ.
Forgive him.
In The Godfather 2, you play as Vito Corleone, an Italian immigrant from Italy who, after getting busted in a small-time robbery with his good buddy Joe, is sent back into the old country to help fight the Nazis. When Vito returns home on temporary leave, he hits the town with Joe, who has joined the Clemente crime family in Vito's absence, and then pulls the ultimate flex by making one phone call and getting Vito a full discharge. When he gets back to his mama's place, Vito finds out that his father has left his mama and his sister with a hefty debt from a loan shark. So he goes to find some honest work, but finds it boring and decides to get involved in more crimes with Joe. He makes enough money to pay off his debt, which is good, but he also gets sent to prison, which is bad. In prison, Vito meets up with Leo Galante, the consigliere of the Vinci family. Leo gets Vito released a few years early, and Vito discovers that the world is actually way better after World War II than it was during the war. Soon, Vito and Joe begin taking jobs for the new big boss in town, Robert De Niro, who is getting involved in the drug game behind the other family's backs. Vito and Joe eventually become made within the organization, but life in the Mafia turns out to be a little dicier than they were expecting.
Boom, 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 boom.
Mafia 2 was released 8 years after the original, and despite a troubled development, ended up becoming a shining example of everything a video game sequel should be. A more intricate story, a more alive world, and new mechanics that don't make you want to snap your keyboard in half. And it holds up damn well a decade later. It definitely shows its age. There are a few cosmetic tweaks made for the definitive edition, but the graphics and atmosphere hold up beautifully. The gameplay mechanics feel a bit clunky. For some reason they removed the coat physics from the original version. Why would they do this? It looks so lame. His just coattails are just glued to his thighs. And the other jackets have physics. Look how they massacred my boy. The first third or so of the game is set in the deep dark winter of 1945 and showcases the despair and uncertainty the country was experiencing in that moment. The tone is cold, dark, and hopeless. But after Vito gets released from prison in the summer of '51, it's a full-on post-war party vibe. The story's a bit more original than the first game, which was more or less a direct homage to Goodfellas. There are plenty of references to Goodfellas and other Scorsese movies. For example, when this game came out, it broke the record for the most fucks in a video game, which I think is a reference to The Wolf of Wall Street, which had the most fucks in a movie when it came out, and they really lean into the fucks. They're not playing around.
Guy's got a voice like Woody fucking Woodpecker.
Get a voice like fucking Minnie Mouse.
Shit, Mike, you can wash your fucking hands once in a while. Now I need a fucking bed.
Some fucking welcome home this is.
Well, this one don't like manual labor. What the fuck?
The lead character, Vito, has a lot more agency than Tommy from the last game. In Mafia 1, every mission was the gang meeting in this room, and someone would tell Tommy, you gotta go to this place and whack this guy or steal this thing. Half of the fucking game takes place in this conference room with people telling you, hey, this thing happened, you gotta go deal with it. And Tommy spends most of the time being a pawn in this game he has little control over. In Mafia 2, while you do take a lot of jobs from other people, most of the major moments in this story are a direct result of the lead character's choices and actions. Vito's a great character because unlike Mafia 1's Tommy Angelo, who had a wife and daughter he was trying to protect, Vito's only motivation for staying in the mob is that he likes it. He loves fast cars, fast ladies, and fancy suits, and deep down all he wants is to keep living that lifestyle. He is not a complicated character. He values his family, his one friend, and his fucking money, and his steadfastness in sticking to those ideas is what makes him a really awesome video game protagonist. Joe is also an awesome character. He's a foul-mouthed asshole who's been best friends with Vito their whole lives.
You ain't even gonna give me a tip?
You want a tip? I'll give you a tip. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Always the gentleman, huh, Joey?
Just get the fuck out of here.
Unlike Tommy's friends in the first game who felt like they were ready to betray him at the drop of a hat, Joe is the kind of mob buddy you just trust implicitly, and you know these two are never going to betray each other. The game is full of super fun characters. Henry, who has a fascinating arc, Leo, who acts as sort of a mafia father figure to Vito, Derek, who has a stupid face, and of course all the great female characters like Vito's sister, Vito's mama, and an array of prostitutes. And I'm gonna be honest, I had a hard time telling a lot of these characters apart on my first playthrough, and it made the story kind of hard to follow. Some visual variety amongst these characters would have gone a long way in making the plot easier to understand, but it's a great story when you're able to tell who's who. And let's talk about Empire Bay, the setting of this game. It's pretty clearly modeled off of New York. You got the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, the Ghostbusters Firehouse, the Brooklyn Bridge, Central Park, etc. But then you also have the Hollywood Hills and the Griffith Observatory, so I I don't know what's going on there. I guess New York in the front, Hollywood in the back, as they say. But unlike the completely empty world of the first game, Mafia 2 is brimming with activities. There are all kinds of different shops to buy stuff from, dress yourself however you want, purchase weapons, customize cars, go into various bars and restaurants to buy food. You can even interact with a bunch of utilities.
Hey, I'm here to buy a fucking suit!
And they sidestep that awful brown and gray aesthetic that basically every game from this generation fell prey to, but not Mafia 2. This game is brimming with vibrant color and fantastic production design. And they really nail that post-war vibe. In my last video, I talked about how the world in the original game could have felt like it could have been any city in any year, but Mafia 2 exudes 50s atmosphere. The cars, the fashion, the wartime propaganda, the interior decorating, and boy howdy the music. Mafia Definitive Edition had a great radio that worked well with the story, and Mafia 2 continues that tradition, but this time with songs people actually know, not just Duke Ellington. The radio is let down quite a bit by these stupid commercials that play sometimes that are just these really on-the-nose jokes like, oh, there's a new invention called the car phone. I hope we never live in a world where people use their phones while driving. Ha! That'll never happen. Or like, this Vice President Richard Nixon seems like an incredibly honest guy. Can't believe how trustworthy this Richard Nixon fellow. What a straightforward, honest man. Feels like the type of terrible writing we see in a lot of other games, but the Mafia series is usually above this kind of lowest common denominator type of humor, and there are a lot of funny jokes. I particularly love this one where after Henry gets shot in the leg, he's like, you gotta take me to El Greco, and Vito's like, you mean the fucking painter? And Henry's like, no, the doctor. And then when you get to El Greco's house, Vito goes, you El Greco the doctor? And he goes,
No, I'm the fucking painter.
and the banter of the main characters is usually really funny, but those stupid, jokey commercials on the radio are just so eye-rollingly awful. But the music is really, really awesome. I had no idea Tequila was such an old song before I played this game, but it really gets the juices flowing when you're bumping it during an epic car chase. However, it also features the song Baby It's Cold Outside, so F-. If you've ever played the original Mafia, which I do not recommend doing, you'll remember that one of the reasons it was impossible to play was that in the shootouts you had to tiptoe out from behind cover and hope you could land a couple of shots on one or two guys before getting massacred. And as I mentioned in my other video, they had shit-ass aiming controls, so in Mafia 2 they implemented a cover system and a light aim assist. Not to say this game isn't hard, I mean there is a difficulty selection, but some of these checkpoints are fucking brutal. Even if you're playing on easy mode, sometimes you'll die and get sent back like 20 minutes. In this one mission, you have to slowly tail this guy through the city in one of those stupid-ass don't get too close, don't get too far tailing missions, then sneak through the sewer, stealth your way through the slaughterhouse, fight this guy, shoot these two guys, then a couple of other guys busted in, and one of them killed me, and I got sent all the way back to the beginning of the tailing section. I mean, what the why? What is this? Why did they not fix this in the definitive edition? But the combat is a massive improvement over the first game. The melee combat too. You get into a lot of fistfights in this game, but now you actually have to engage in the combat system if you want to win. Or if you're losing, you can just shoot the guy you're fighting, which is a pretty fun feature. And instead of health packs like in the first game, now you have to chow down on a burger in the middle of a shootout to restore your health. The driving is improved as well. It's pretty hard still, but cars in the 50s were a lot less terrible at that point, so it's a little bit easier, and there's some awesome cars in this game, which you can customize now. The game introduces an awesome wanted system, where your wanted level doesn't just go away if you escape the cops. Instead, they keep an eye out for you and your car, so you have to change your clothes and your car, or just your license plate. Which is really fucking cool. They're trying to innovate on the standard wanted system and make it a little bit more realistic. It's not completely realistic. Like, you're telling me the cops wouldn't recognize this car because I switched out the license plate? Or this car, which is literally from the future? But hey, they tried, and it's mostly really awesome. The game is full of fun set pieces and interesting gameplay scenarios, and a game like this lives and dies by its variety, and it avoids running out of those ideas by only being about 15 or so hours long. It's a lot shorter than most people are used to nowadays, but it keeps a great energy and pace the entire time. Oh, except for this one thing. Towards the end of the game, right before the final chapter, Vito needs some cash to start the next mission, but the only way for you to earn money in this game outside of the story missions is to sell cars to this guy. So right before the epic climax of the story, the game stops down and makes you gather cars for about half an hour. And if that sounds kind of fun, it's not. You drive to the junkyard, sell a car to this guy, then you have to run all the way back out onto the street, find a car, drive it back, sell it, and rinse and repeat until you have enough money to continue playing the game. Why is this in the game? Just don't use it. I mean, just cut this part out, right? No? Okay, fine, but you're losing an entire letter grade for this section. It's easily the worst part of the game. The most readily available version of this game is the Definitive Edition, which was released as part of the Mafia trilogy, along with the remake of Mafia 1, but Mafia 2 is a lot closer to a remaster than a remake. The improvements are mostly minor visual adjustments and that sort of thing, but they do wonders for the overall presentation. However, there are a few issues with this re-release. For one, it was super buggy upon release. It's a little better now. As I mentioned, they nerfed the coat physics, which is offensive, but the most egregious example of this is during a climactic, pivotal moment at the end of the game. Vito is sitting in a car having an intense talk with Leo, and for some reason his eyes are doing this the entire scene. And I'm not the only one that experienced this. In fact, it's like this in the official trailer.
Started a fucking war.
It's only for a brief flash, but you can clearly see it's the same problem. How does this happen? It totally ruins the dramatic moment. It's so stupid. How did they let that happen? They upgraded the faces of all the main characters, but it makes it incredibly jarring to see them talking to a character who didn't get a facelift. It just makes them look extra mushy by comparison. But these are good faces.
The working man's a sucker, that's for damn sure.
You said it.
Oh, yeah. Well, come on home.
So go ahead and play it. Play Mafia 2. As long as you can get past its obvious age and that one part with the cars, you'll get a unique experience that not a lot of modern gamers ever will. And part of me actually feels like this game might be the best starting place into this franchise, but I'll talk a little bit more about that in a later video. I give Mafia 2 almost a masterpiece with a few glaring problems. Out of 10. So come back next week for my review of Mafia 3, the best one. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Sing it a dream, sing it a dream.